take off, take flight with you. For we never fly, but we're flying.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Take Flight Podcast, and we are back again this week with a bite-size episode. Now this week it's my turn hosting a Take Flight Takeaways episode for you. For those that are new here, these Take Flight Takeaway episodes are short bite-sized episodes of around 10 minutes where each of us take turns to share some takeaways and learnings which we think would be of value to others. In case you haven't checked out any of these takeaway episodes before, I highly recommend you check them all out. Now this week it is me, Shuwel, and I will be discussing effective leadership. And this is something which I learned while working one of the biggest companies in the world from the best leaders in the healthcare industry. And in this episode, I'll explain about what I learned and how I was able to apply this in my own career and business journey, which I hope can help you, our amazing listeners, on your own leadership journey. Now, first of all, the context of why I wanted to talk about this in this week's episode and the definition for us to use in this episode moving forward. Now, leadership, we can all agree, is a very important tool, which when used correctly can motivate teams to great heights, from shipping products to investing to even moving countries to take big, strategic, bold bets. Effective leadership is extremely important, and even more now than ever. Now, as mentioned in the introduction, I've been fortunate in my career to learn the power of effective leadership from the best and then try to apply those lessons on my own journey. Now, some context here, the company that I worked there internationally for over a decade, and this company was one of the top 50 companies in the globe. So that's how big we're talking in terms of international scale. And of course, with it being an international company, it attracted A-plus talent from across the world. And I was privileged enough to learn from them up close and under their leadership, which helped me shape my own leadership personality and then apply them in my own journey. Now, that's the context. Let's give an explanation in terms of what effective leadership actually looks like. Now, from my experience, effective leaders surround themselves with people who challenge them. They also hire people who are smarter, and especially in the area in which the leader has a weakness. Insecure leaders do all of that, but they do the opposite action. Now, let me give some examples to try and demonstrate effective leadership, which I hope can be helpful for you too. And these are examples from my own personal journey. So the first example is I wanted to give an example when I was in Japan. So when I moved to Tokyo for my role, the business there was experiencing a significant sales decline, and the organization had to be readjusted accordingly. Now, in Japan, challenging senior leaders in a group environment was very limited. So to extract the true view from the team around me, this required building strong individual relationships and spending one-to-one time to create trust with those around me. Now, after building that trust, this then enabled me to gather insights from across the organization and then help to apply them on the project that we had to deliver and achieve the objective. Without spending that one-to-one time with people and building those individual relationships, there was no way that I would be able to get the insights that I would need from my Japanese colleagues. Because as mentioned, in a large environment, to speak up and out against senior leaders was frowned upon and very difficult to get out of the team. Now, fortunately, with those principles that I just mentioned then of effective leadership, in Japan, we were able to get the information we needed, get the insights we needed, and ultimately succeed in the task that we had at that time. The second example I wanted to give was from my experience in Denmark. Now, in Copenhagen, the team that I was leading had to launch a key product. Now, I've actually done a previous Take Flight Takeaway episode where I talked about the effective ways to launch a product. So make sure to check that out in case that's an interest area for you. Now, back to this example. The Danish culture actually invites speaking up. It's really ingrained where no matter your thoughts or your opinions, it's very commonplace to share your view on the problem that we're working on. So my role as a leader there with my team was to ensure that everyone can give their thoughts and opinions, and then we narrow it down together to the key focus areas. Now, in this role, I recognize our team members, we had very different strengths across the board, but together we structured challenge discussions of us versus the problem rather than one individual versus another. Now, this team of superstars, who are all much better than I in multiple areas, were able to break launch records and help a significant number of people along the way. Now, that would not have been possible if everyone did not contribute their ideas that they had, and we worked together in bringing these ideas together and focusing on the key ones. So full credit to the team that I had in Denmark. The third example I wanted to share was an example with Ahmed Capital Group. So since 2019, we've grown significantly, and I've been able to share this on previous Take Flight Takeaway episodes before. But a key essence of that growth is bringing on board partners and team members, me getting out of the way and just listening to our experts. Now, this includes team members from finance, from legal, architects, planners, and our construction partners. Collectively, we are all looking to achieve continued growth in our respective fields, and they are not afraid to tell me how we can improve and ultimately serve our stakeholders and investors even better, which allows them to grow, allows me to grow, and allows the organization to grow. Now, those are three examples that I just wanted to share of effective leadership that I've been able to learn from others and apply in my own respective arena. Now, I hope they've been able to demonstrate what effective leadership looks like. And I think if I had to summarize it very quickly, effective leadership ultimately boils down to parking any ego that you may have about your own abilities and your own skill, bringing on board experts and creating the environment to bring the best out of them, because that ultimately helps us all collectively achieve way more than what we thought was possible. So I want to give a big thank you to the leaders that I've been able to learn from and that I've been mentored by, who have been able to show the way. And still, as any leader will know, there is way more to learn and a lot more to do. So I look forward to continuing to share those learnings as I go through it. So that's the end of this week's takeaway episodes. In case you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can find me on LinkedIn, Shuwel, Shuwel for Lima. And actually, I've been posting more long-form content on LinkedIn. So if you aren't already connected on there, please do reach out. And then, of course, you can find me on Instagram at Shuwel1. Now, please make sure, as mentioned already, to check out our previous takeaway episodes in case you haven't. Please do also subscribe on whichever platform you're listening to us on. We are now on TikTok. We've started YouTube a few months ago. If you can also leave a review for 30 seconds, that would mean the world for us. And of course, don't forget to find us on our Instagram and TikTok page, which is at Take Flight Podcast on whichever platform you use for social media. Now, we'll be back next week with a new episode for you, the flyers. Keep on taking flight and flying high. And remember, with effective leadership, don't let insecurity of yourself or the people around you drown out the effectiveness of leading an amazing team. See you next week.
Take off, take flight with you. Yeah, for we never fly, but